It's in the way of the bus driver on the way to Bill's house. When you go in there and turn left, it irks me. Because people walking on the sidewalk hit their head on that hanging over. It's an oak tree.
She said it wasn't a tree that was on anybody's property. She said it was coming in.
And it hangs out in the out over the street also. You know where I mean?
Well,
I know a live oak, yeah, but
Yeah.
that's not the one she's talking about.
Okay.
No, well, that particular tree, yes, there's a couple in the neighborhood
They
that
need to
should
be
get a
trimmed.
letter to be trimmed.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right, but they said no, it was not a tree that was on any private property. I think I know what the one that they're talking about is when you come in, there's a pine, and there's a couple branches that are there. So that very well might be the tree she's talking about, that to trim the branches because they were hitting the front of the school bus. So I said, well, all you had to do was call, we would have taken care of it. But anyway, hopefully it will be, it is settled, and if not, then we'll just keep pursuing it. Okay, so that takes care of the school bus situation. Okay, now, I think we've already had a discussion on the homeowners renting their houses without filling out proper forms or whatever. So as you can see with the Wu property, that if people cannot rent their houses in here without going to the management company, filling out the proper paperwork, because we do have to know who's in here. Okay, and the cancellation of the 24th mediation, we already talked about that. So there's a new discussion, on a new sidewalk resolution. I'm going to give this over to Gail. I'll just give you a quick briefing on this. Before I left to go away, I called Mr. Spears' office. I explained our situation, that we were going to go to mediation. I explained to him what we've been doing, etc., and I put the things together in a packet. And I asked him if he would put some clarification on what our problem was in here. And I told him I didn't know where this was going to go after mediation. But if he would please clarify some things for us, because if it ended up in court, we would only have taken him to court anyway. So if he chose to put something in writing, then would he put something in writing that if we had to take it to court, that it would hold up in a court of law? Told him I was going away, and I told him to please contact Gail and send her whatever, if he chose to do it, which he didn't have to do. So hang on, I'll let Gail take it over from here.
Well, because we were doing this mediation on the sidewalks, I learned more about rules and regulations than I ever thought I wanted to know. But from Mr. Spears, he sent us a very nice letter, and he said that the original developer, Malapelli, which I think some of you know, or those of you who've been here a long time, plotted Meadowbrook and the roads and the curbs. And then he sold the individual lots to the home builder, which was Mastercraft, the first home builder in here. Initially, Mastercraft, who wanted to sell houses, had drafted covenants, and Mr. Malapelli went along with them. The original plot for the Meadowbrook had no sidewalks in it at all. But the builders wanted to sell houses, so they put sidewalks in and their salespeople said, oh yeah, we're going to have sidewalks. We're going to have sidewalks all the way around. So it was sort of but it was never put in the documents in any way or shape or form. And then there was a letter sent out to all the homeowners, and Mr. Spears said he sat in on that discussion of that letter, which said, and as Georgia has quoted to you before, the first annual meeting, Mr. Spears said, from your property lot line to the road is an easement, and the responsibility of that is the homeowner to maintain that. so all those homeowners, all the builders were putting in the sidewalks. The association then, to make the association look, the Meadowbrook look better, filled in the sidewalks in between, like across the street from Bill's where there's those trees, and around the lift station, and up at the front entranceway. So an open letter was sent out to all homeowners right after the annual meeting saying that the maintenance of the sidewalk was their responsibility. And we have a copy of that letter somewhere in the files too. So based upon all that,
Also, Mr. Montpelli was, the county did not have to put the side, he was.
no, there was no requirement for the developer to put sidewalks in. In fact, it's one of the big selling points in Meadowbrook. People come in here and go, oh, you've got sidewalks. Oh, how great. I don't have to walk in the road. I mean, if you go over to Marsh Landing, they have no sidewalks. You go to some of these other developments, no sidewalks. You go to Lighthouse Bay, the sidewalks are black tar. You can't see what you're doing. So, I looked into the powers of the board of directors. The board of directors does have the power. Exhibit C, bylaws, Article 2, directors, Section 5, powers. F, adopt and publish rules and regulations governing the use of the common areas and facilities and the personal conduct of the members and their guests thereon, and to establish procedures for the imposition of penalties, including fines, for the infraction thereof. Now, I then also ran across a newspaper column, Joe Adams, some of you read him in the News Press, July 15th, 2012. And to summarize his article, board rules must meet 4 basic tests. The documents of the association must grant the power to the board, which they obviously do. The board-made rule cannot conflict with any right contained in the documents. The rule must be reasonable, and it must be adopted in a procedurally correct manner. So therefore, the board, well, it also, therefore, our board here would like to make the resolution. A resolution was proposed to making the clean appearances of sidewalks and maintenance of the mailbox and grass strip with sprinklers between the sidewalk and the roadway part of each homeowner's maintenance responsibilities, and that failure to accept this responsibility will result in a fine of $50 per day for each day the offense continues, not to exceed $1,000. This is per Article 7, Section 1 of the association documents. And that section reads, maintenance of lots and units states, every owner must keep and maintain his lot and unit, including but not limited to the dwellings and all other improvements thereon, its improvements and appurtenances at his expense in good order, condition, and repair. Is there, so that's the resolution I'd like to make?
Can I say something?
We'll have a discussion. I think we need some type of a discussion here. Like I say, this would have all been brought to the, you guys are all going to go to the mediation. That would have
This
all.
came as quite a surprise to me, because I asked about getting Spears' opinion right after the Post came out with his opinion, and Ernie's going, we're not getting Spears.
You're right.
And no one even
Bill,
told me about this.
You're right.
Yeah.
And then I took it upon myself to take your advice and to do that prior to going to mediation.
Yeah.
I
And
did
when
not
there's
know
a
what he was going
conflict,
to say, and the letter was sent to Gail, whether it was, and if you look in there, basically, what I just showed you, it is exactly what we said. The builder built your house, he put in your sidewalks, he put in your grass strip, he put in everything.